NBC games left. What are you guys most encouraged by the rest of the way?
Well, I think one of the things we went into Wichita State, we told our guys, we're not going to grade you on the scoreboard. We're going to grade you on attitude and effort. I think when you're not winning ball games and when you're struggling, my grandmother used to say, find a silver lining in every cloud. And I think you got to find small things to focus on and try to achieve those. And attitude and effort were the two things going into the Wichita State game that we really asked our guys to do. I was very disappointed at Evansville. I thought we quit in the second half. It was very evident. When you go into a media room and you go into your radio show after the game and it's brought up in two different venues of people that haven't even been talking to each other, it was rather disappointing and embarrassing that we have a ball club that quit in the second half. And it's just hard, and I didn't want to go through that again. So we challenged our guys' attitude and effort. You guys saw the results. I thought we played harder, and I thought we played definitely more as a team. I thought our attitude was great.
How big is it to be finally back here at the arena again playing?
Well, you guys, I don't know how many ran the clip, but we played 15 games this year. We played 4 at home. 4 games at home. Nobody else is doing it. I mean, I'll let our SID figure out the stats, but I would take it that I bet there's not more than 10 schools that have played least home games than what we have this year, and no one in the Valley has. And that's an awful lot to ask of a group that's come back from 8 wins, new coach, new system, and getting your butt beat. You never play at home, so at least we get a chance to come home, and I'm really excited. I didn't even recognize the gym today. It's kind of like coming into a new facility.
How much has the effort from Wednesday carried over into practice?
I thought our last 2 practices, Todd, have been really good, but I don't mind telling you, that'll only last so long. There's only one thing that will take care of our attitude and effort and get it to the next level right now, is we need a much-needed win. And we have to have a collective effort, not only by our team, by our staff, but we got to have a collective effort by our fans. And I'm telling you what, everywhere I go in this community, everywhere I've been, people are talking about Saluki basketball and about our kids giving effort. I told our players, this is what I told them at practice. I said, Jeff, do you remember when you dove out on the floor right here in front of the bench, how the crowd went? Josh, do you remember when you dove into the stands over there on the opposite end, how our crowd went? Kendall, do you remember when you dove on the floor against Bradley and how our crowd reacted? I said, that's what our crowd wants. Our crowd wants guys that are going to play hard, that want to be Salukis, and that want to represent our university and our program in a first-class manner. That's what they want. And if we do that, they'll be here. It's almost Field of Dreams type stuff. If you build it, they will come. If you will play your butts off, they'll come. I believe that. I've always believed that.
Jeff said that Dantiel should play tomorrow, at least a
Yeah, I
little
think
bit.
he's going to play. I think we want to play him a little bit. I don't know how much of a threat he's going to be. He's really limited. Maybe we can get him out there 6 to 8 minutes. I don't know how much he could play. I mean, we tried to run a play for him today. I mean, he can't dunk it, can't get up around the rim. I mean, he jumps like I do right now. And I don't know if y'all know this. I've got a good vertical, but it's not quite as good as Dantiel's when he's healthy.
How much has he practiced?
He practiced half a day yesterday and all day today. And I shouldn't say all day today. He practiced 3/4 of the time today. He tweaked it a little bit and really struggled towards the end of practice, but that's to be expected.
Jake Odom returns, obviously, but for Indiana State, it's largely a new team. What's impressed you about this year's group?
I think several things. I think obviously we know Jake, how good a player he is. I think the X factor is A-Rock. I think he makes them go. I think he's really, really a good player, transfer from Gonzaga, and their 2 big guys can all step out and make threes, and they can stretch the defense. We really have to have a good defensive game, and we really need to play with a lot of energy and enthusiasm tomorrow night to help us kind of get jump-started defensively.
What do you ask Beam to do when he's guarding Odom? Odom's a pretty good rebounder, too.
Same thing I've asked him all year long, Todd, is just to give us your best effort. And, I mean, I've got our freshmen night in and night out guarding the other team's best perimeter player every game. And I will say this, Anthony Bean had his best practice in a Saluki uniform today. I'm really encouraged by the progress that Anthony's making.
Recognized by the Valley, 10.1 points per game, leading the all-Valley freshman. I mean, how important does that show to his success?
Chris, I think it's important for our program And I think it's important for our fans to understand we've got good things coming. I mean, I think our fans, our alumni, the people that support our program, they're much like we are. They need to see light at the end of the tunnel. And Anthony Bean's a pretty bright light. I wish they could see Bola practice every day, and then they would really be encouraged. Bola is definitely, if not our best, one of our best big men right now every day on the floor.
What's Bean's next step?
Pardon?
What's Anthony's next step?
Well, I think Anthony's next step is to become a sophomore. I mean, seriously, he's just got to live and learn and get through these mistakes right now. And his next step is to not be depressed by the mistakes he made. There's nobody that felt worse than the other night when he dribbled behind his back and turned the ball over in a really tough part of the game. And there's nobody felt worse. But you learn from your mistakes.
Coach, you challenged Desmar earlier in the week, and is he a guy that you just constantly are going to have to ride, on a daily basis to get the most out of?
Let's address this right now, because I did something I've not done in 32 years. I not only challenged Desmar privately, but I challenged him publicly. And I think people need to understand, I love my players. I love them. But there are sometimes desperate times call for deficit. You can edit this. Sometimes desperate times call for desperate measures. And we were there. We were there. And I love Desmar Jackson. And we would like Desmar Jackson to be a part of this program. But we don't want him to be a part of this program until he realizes it's a privilege to be here and not a right. And that not only goes for Desmar, that goes for every player in our program. And sometimes we coddle who we perceive as our best players. And that's absolutely the worst thing we can do. I've always had this saying, when it's more important to me than it is to the player, then it's time for us to move on. And I think that's where we've gotten to. I think we need Desmar, but I think Desmar needs us more than we need him. And I think every player ought to figure that out. And I hope our fans understand that I want the best for him. And for me to call the kid out in public, it hurt me, it bothered me, but I just felt like at this time I needed to do that in order to catch his attention. And don't think for one moment, not one moment, don't think that this is a mind game. It has nothing to do with mind games. I'm telling you, you can ask. Luke just walked by. We were buying a bus ticket, which, by the way, is an NCAA violation. That's how upset I was. We would have made sure that Desmar bought his own bus ticket so we wouldn't have a violation. But don't think for one, I wasn't playing a mind game. I was being truthful the entire time.
Has it improved your relationship with him, do you think?
It has for the last 72 hours. We got another 48 hours to go before I make my decision. And it's not anybody else's decision. This is not something that a staff, this is something that I just came in and I told my staff coming back from Evansville, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm worn out. I'm tired of it. I've come to the point that this is what we're going to do, and we're going to make a decision. And I think from what we've seen in the practice, I think what we've seen in the game, and it's not, I don't care if Desmar scores 28 points. It doesn't have anything to do with points. It has everything to do with effort and attitude and respect and punctuality and doing the right things, doing the little things right. And we want to make sure that our guys understand, regardless of what happens on the floor with the scoreboard, that we're still going to do the right things. I mean, I think sometimes you just have to put your foot down and you just have to say, it hurts, but it's still the right thing to do. I mean, my dad made me go to a willow tree a lot. I had to pick my switch. I hated it. My mom and dad didn't like that. I mean, they didn't like that. But I learned my lesson. And this is one of these moments. And I'm not sending Desmar to the willow tree. I'm sending him to the bus station, I guess.
Barry, I've heard that you've worked out some football players. Are you adding anybody soon?
We've worked out Calvin, and we've worked him out, and we've got him eligible. And just to show you the state of Saluki basketball, we get Calvin on the squad because we need somebody to help us practice. We get him eligible, and then he has an accident and he takes 6 stitches to his shooting hand. So, it just never fails. So, I mean, we just, it's just amazing. I don't think anybody wants to be around me right now headed to Vegas. I promise you that. But we hope he's helping us a little bit in practice. And I don't anticipate him playing in the games very much, but he's certainly going to help us in practice.
Working anybody else out?
No,
Anybody
that's
else
it.
right now?
That's it. That's all we've had is Calvin.
How did that come to be? Did he come to you or did you?
No, we can't. I tell you, I went to Coach Lennon and I just said, hey, Dale, I need some help. And you have any big guys? But Anthony Bean has known Calvin all his life, followed him in AAU basketball, knew his father, Calvin Sr., and we went to Coach and asked him if it would be okay. We won't take away from football. He still has to do all of his football homework. He has to do all of his lifting with football, all of the meetings, all that. We're not taking away from football at all. But I tell you what, Dale Lennon helped us a bunch, and it certainly has helped in practice.
He didn't offer up Adam Feeney?
He didn't offer up.
6'7",
he
6'8".
didn't offer up a lot of guys, but at the same time, we just needed one. We needed one big guy to help us, and that certainly helped us a lot.
Well, if I can ask you, Chase Hines, has he started practicing? Is his
No,
recovery coming along?
Chase's recovery has been stalemated once again. Chase will not be able to practice the entire year and will not be able to go into full workouts most likely until May. And at that time, we'll judge whether or not he can end up being a basketball player or it'll be the end of his career.
Same injury or is it a new injury?
No, it's the same one. We just can't get through it.
All right. Okay.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.